So the social movement engine is a multi-level platform for conscious global collaboration designed to bring together all of humanity, all organizations, for-profit and nonprofit, all nations and national institutions, universities, think tanks, research institutions, and nonprofit endeavors of all kinds with very positive intention that have not as of yet been able to magnify and amplify their messages, their service in the world, their positive co-creative intentions to bring them all together in a collaborative venue in which they can share their expertise, their knowledge, their understanding, their positive intentions, their resources, their technologies for that if they were simply applied in a disparate or staccato way in the world would not have much effect. It would not move the needle on climate change. The social movement engine architecture is designed to bring together all of those technologies and transdisciplinary modalities and expertise into a synthesis, a whole, a unified service engine to apply all of that power, all of that capacity to rapidly solve climate change and as a collective effort. Right now, there aren't any mechanisms that achieve that goal. There are many wonderful disparate technologies and efforts in the world. They don't know about each other. They don't know how to collaborate with each other. They don't have a supportive venue either to magnify their individual capacities or to cobble them together into a much more powerful, united mechanism of service and solution to climate change. The social movement engine is designed to do that, as well as to allow every human being on the planet that has access to any electronic device to have a voice and a vote, and to have their understanding of the world brought to the fore and integrated and synthesized into strategies, solutions, and effective action. It's designed to bring on board any and all existing wholesome social movements in order to serve every subculture of humanity, every race, every nation, every religion, every age group, every gender. And thus to arrive at global unity ever more rapidly, gracefully, joyfully, effectively, and efficiently, simultaneous to solving climate change, simultaneous to healing the planet, simultaneous to healing cultures, and to support humanity in its collective efforts to mitigate the symptomology of climate change. Climate change migration is already a reality. There are literally billions of people, according to the current IPCC report on climate change that's just come out, that due to lack of fresh water may well be required to migrate to other areas of the world. This is within the next few years. There must be systems to manage and support that climate change migration gracefully, without pain, without suffering, without people falling through the cracks, without conflict, without the potential for the occurrence of war as a result simply of climate change for survival's sake. There must be a path and process and support system to move indigenous peoples from any area of the world into another area of the world where they can live, work, survive, thrive, have healthy lives, and live in peace and harmony with the populations that they meet up with. There's got to be disaster and catastrophe relief, and there must be systems that operate in concert with incredible efficiency and effectiveness and efficiency of utilization of scarce resources in order for the very likely near-term catastrophes, whether they are fires, floods, hurricanes, or drought, or other or just lack of fresh water in general for growth of crops. Uh, all of these eventualities must be understood, and we must have a clear snapshot of where the world is and every people and nation is from moment to moment to moment, so that we can generate collective orchestrated actions and solutions in the world and deliver and deploy them on time at minimal cost and minimal detrimental impact on any nation in the world. There must be some mechanism of timing all of that, a clockwork system of synchronized effort and action and an effective solutions generation. And we call that the social movement engine. And this must be a meeting point for all peoples of goodwill and intention in the world, a collaborative venue that supports their arriving at shared understandings, shared agreements that are indelibly recorded in a blockchain system, shared generation of solutions, sharing of technologies of all kinds, computer technology, social technology, educational technology. All of this must be shared, and as fast and efficiently and effectively as possible. According to the latest IPCC report, we may have, if we understand its wording correctly, we may have less now than 8 years. If the temperature of our planet exceeds 1.5 degrees, if it reaches 1.5 degrees, that's the tipping point, according to science, for massive potential unfettered future catastrophes, unmanageable catastrophes that accelerate out of our capacity as a species to adapt to them. If that is a real and present danger to our species and to our natural world, is it vital that we now take collective, aligned, orchestrated action at speed, at scale, globally? And must there be an infrastructure to support that? And if there must be an infrastructure to support that, it must be designed, funded, built, tested, and participated on by the world. And that must occur with absolute speed and right now. And we understand this. We also understand that this support system, though it would deliver resources of all kinds anywhere in the world, technologies of all kinds anywhere in the world, solutions of all kinds anywhere in the world, and simultaneously, it must also offer collaborative education and facilitation, because humanity has not previously understood how to optimally work together in peace and unconditional love and respect for everybody all the time, in the quality of union that a flock of birds moves through the sky and as it turns and wheels as one. We must attain that capacity as a species and maintain it and evolve it and become ever more effective and efficient in that learning. So there must be collaborative facilitation and education constantly available to all participations on this platform. That facilitation is the WSS organization, and as the source of the information and the facilitation, and that process of collaborative, sustained collaborative global scale effort will allow our species to generate a sustainable life process for humanity. It will allow our species to generate a future for future generations, an environment in which they can live and thrive and find joy and happiness and experience and express their co-creative potential, and simultaneously stave off the potential for vast pain and suffering and harm that we're right on the precipice of experiencing as a global collective human species right now. So this is our message. This is our offer. This is what we perceive to be needed and necessary now, not someday, not tomorrow, now. And it's time for us as a species to unite in its creation, to unite in building it. If this is an arc for our species to travel through these current and future times of high water, if that's a metaphor that makes sense, then so be it. That said, there must be a path, a process, a vehicle for global transformation and change to be effectively applied and generated, applied, deployed, and absorbed into the very fabric of humanity. And that's what the social movement engine is being designed to do. That's its intention. That's its dynamic and quality and focus of service. And we appreciate everyone's contributions of time, effort, love, and compassion and service in this collective endeavor.
That's absolutely useful and helpful. Thank you. I think the one thing I've run into when telling people about it is they're like, well, how are you, like, they're interested in the kind of the more details of like, what's the plan? Like the more like, if you were to have a map of the building directives, like what would be, like, how would you build something like that? I know you have computer background and software building background, maybe just at some point to speak to that more too, so that people can feel confident that it is like it's already been thought through of how to actually build it.
It's a great question, and thank you. We have spec'd it out. It's architecture. We're working right now with 2 IT firms to, and as soon as we have funding, we have an agreement with them that they will fully design the architecture for us, including all of the artificial intelligence support systems. They'll spec it all out. We are in current conversation with an AI development organization in hopes that we can have a collaborative relationship with them. So these are real and substantive developments. We can point to the precise costs of developing each of the defined components, and we have that information available. There's a, how do we put it? There's an I can't believe it until I see it factor, and I can't support it and believe in it until I see it factor in humanity. This is a process that inhibits acceptance of co-creative potential and possibility. So people might say, well, sure, I can believe, they might have said a couple of 100 years ago, I can believe that it's possible to create a steam engine that would connect New York to California and a track. I can believe it's possible, but I'm not going to support it. I'm not going to fund it. I'm not going to participate in it until you fully build it. And then I'll believe in it, and then I'll accept it, and then I'll fund it after it's already built. Do you see the conundrum there? The fundamental fear, projective fear dynamic in humanity that says, I'm so afraid of this positive possibility actually occurring that I'm afraid to do anything to help or benefit it until it actually, somebody else does it for me. Does it make sense that that's at the foundation of all of this?
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for clarifying that.
You're welcome. And that's just a normal human reactive dynamic. That's nobody not doing something they should be doing. That's not anybody doing anything wrong. That's not what it's about at all. We are literally building the SME right now in these conversations. We're architecting it together. We're designing its requirements together. Throughout every one of these meetings and every one of these conversations, everything that you folks communicate and everything that you either develop within yourselves or you embody or learn through this process reflectively and collaboratively and recursively, it's all becoming that result of the social movement engine. In a way, the hardware infrastructure architecture is an afterthought. We're designing the entire blueprint in our efforts and our discussions right now. You can't really build a skyscraper without an architectural design and blueprint. It is spec'd, it is designed. Now the rest is details. The rest is just building it together. There are so many laudable efforts in our world that are so wonderful. Carbon capture techniques, new technologies for revitalizing soil in the world, new farming techniques that don't require GMO, genetically modified organisms, plants, and that don't damage the ground in their process. All of those are fantastic. And they are very sporadic, non-aligned, non-orchestrated, non-coordinated, non-integrated, non-synthesized, non-catalytically applied technologies. And we get that. They're all beautiful, graceful, wonderful. And we have the way to catalyze them. We have the way to unify and amplify them in the world. All that's required is that we find within ourselves the will, the intention, and the courage to build it together and help people who potentially could help us make that same choice. It's very simple. It's incredibly simple. The SME may sound complex or multidimensional or large scale or any of that. It's very simple. All that's required is that humanity choose to work together on a common IT platform to solve climate change. If people can just hear that single message and agree, it will be fully manifest in the world. It will exist. We will participate together on it. We'll all learn together. We'll serve together. We'll create together. And we'll solve climate change together, and we'll build a future that's beautiful and graceful for everyone together. It's such a simple choice. And in order for that choice to be made, people must find within themselves the faith in themselves and in each other to think, oh gosh, if we just choose to work together, we can solve this. Does that seem like a really tough thing for people to do? Does that seem like a really challenging choice for people to make? It's you might assume it's an effortless arrival at shared consciousness and aligned mobilization and application of all our collective energies and wills and knowledge and wisdom and technology. And that said, for some of the smartest people in the world, that simple choice seems like a really big, complex deal when all they need to do is choose it. Do those words make sense?
Makes so much sense. And it's really exciting. It's just like if someone's pointing one direction saying, look over there, look at all those things that don't make any sense. That's what is like happening now in the world. But then all it takes is us to literally turn around and point the other direction and say, well, look over there, look at all that stuff that makes sense. So that's what we're doing. Yeah. And yeah.
Keep going.
Oh, and I just like what you said about it's so simple. It's just one place. We're building one collection point for information that's real and true that we can all use to our benefit. It's very simple. So thank you.
You're quite welcome. We have a choice as a species that we can make in this moment together. We can face the past, even the past of yesterday, and see what technologies have been created up until this very moment. We can look backward and we can judge everything that is or everything that hasn't been done, and we can back into the future, constantly judging the past and each other, and remain divided, remain unconscious, remain in fear, not operate in faith and trust and unity. We can continue facing that way, or we can just turn around and look at the co-creative possibility we can all generate together. Envision it, build it, live it, experience it, and be healed by doing so. That's right here, available to us right now. All of the moments of history up until this moment are a distraction from that choice. Everything that's happened in our world up until this moment is a distraction. Certainly, we're being informed by the past, and we have the option of leaving behind the previously supposedly known and familiar, and fully leaping in faith together into what can be.